Hi, your local tattoo witch here. So I made a post just a couple days ago, or actually it was yesterday, in response to a question that I got about tattoo apprenticeships, why they're so hard to get and why it's hard to learn to tattoo, etc. And I got a lot of really positive feedback from it. I also got some negative feedback, which we love because it allows us to have a constructive conversation. When it comes to tattooing, the tattoo industry in general, and apprenticeships, I am speaking purely from my own experience and my own opinions. This industry is huge, and tattooing is owned by nobody. Many people have tried to contain this industry for decades, and it is uncontainable, which is something that I really love about it. Tattooing isn't owned by you, it's not owned by me, and it has a way of allowing people in and keeping people out of its own accord. That being said, there's a lot of myth about tattooers gatekeeping this industry. So if you watch my previous post, you'll hear that I talked about how I did a traditional apprenticeship and how a traditional apprenticeship was a work-trade exchange for teaching the skill of tattooing, and it helped tattoo shops function. But as the tattoo industry has progressed and those kinds of jobs aren't done anymore because we have them mass produced, the reason for teaching an apprentice or the exchange that you have with an apprenticeship kind of doesn't exist anymore. So because a tattooer is so highly specialized and skilled in what they do, and it's taken them years and years, sometimes decades, to amass the knowledge and the experience that they have, it is normal for tattooers to charge for their apprenticeships now. Depending on the experience of the tattooer and the skill set that they have and the connections that they offer you, because an apprenticeship isn't just the skill of tattoo and art, it's also running the entire business. I've seen tattooers charge anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000 for their apprenticeships, and they last anywhere from a year to 3 years. Now, kind of similar to master carpentry in that way. Once you do your apprenticeship and you learn the basics of how to make a functional tattoo, then you go on to your journeymanship, which is a career of learning the art of tattooing. And that is what can take years and years. And that's why I always say you have one apprenticeship, but many, many mentors. The other thing to keep in mind is, just like higher education, just because you pay for it doesn't guarantee you a job, and it also doesn't guarantee you a finished apprenticeship. Give it this way. If you go to college, you fail out of your classes, or you drop out, you don't get a degree. Now, all of that being said, everyone has different experiences. One of the things that I did want to address is that I have heard a lot of people say or refer to their apprenticeships, which are work trade, if they do that instead of paying for it, as some form of slave labor. Now, I take big issue with that term because slavery is an actual real thing, and work exchange, which is a choice, is not at all slavery. And I think that it's highly inappropriate to refer to this aspect of learning a skill as that form of abuse. Learning to tattoo is a choice. Following through on your apprenticeships and the duties of that is a choice. And yes, there are unfortunately bad people in the tattoo industry that do exploit other people, because people are people, but this is not unique to tattooing. This is pretty much the entire world over. So as there is no standard in tattooing as far as education or skill goes, because it is so specialized, it's going to be really interesting to see how we evolve as an industry as far as education goes. And I think it's really important to point out that the reason why it's not standardized and why it's so specialized is because a stick and poke artist cannot teach you color realism, and a color realism artist probably can't teach you the rules of neo-traditional, and a neo-traditional artist probably won't teach you very well fine line black and gray. So my final thought is this. Tattooing has a lot to offer, even though it has its pitfalls and its risks. As far as a working art, I do have to say, as a woman, I make the same amount dollar for dollar as my male counterparts, if not more. And you can't say that for almost any industry in the entire world. It used to be almost impossible to get a tattoo apprenticeship. It used to be almost impossible to learn anything about tattooing. So now tattooing is way more open. We have seminars. We have programs that are 3-day conferences like Explore. And we have more and more tattooers who are teaching and sharing their knowledge on the internet and over social media. So if anything, this industry is definitely not being gatekept. It is more open than it ever has been. It's just we're in a new area of where we're going as far as education, learning, apprenticeships, and teaching. And I think that this is a wonderful place to be in the industry. Some people are going to hate it, some people are going to love it, but that's just